I'm touching knee on the floor. I pray to God every moment. Lord, I ain't broke anymore. Ain't living life like before. You say I did all this shit on my own.
And the main thing is about ambitious.
Yeah.
What happened there?
To be honest, I wasn't getting paid, and I felt like my art direction was being taken into a whole new domain, you know, that I'm not comfortable with. But beyond that, I was just not getting paid. I'm supposed to get paid.
But what was the arrangement prior?
You see, that's where it started. That's where the problem started, because me and the label owner had like a verbal agreement when I had approached them saying, yo, I'd like to sign to Ambitious Entertainment. You know, we had a verbal agreement that, okay, we're going to take you in as our artist and we're going to have you do a little trial run. And if everything goes well, we're going to invest in you. And then ever since then, man, I've been asking for the contract, but it's been like, yeah, we're still fixing it up. Yeah,
but the money's being made.
Yeah, we still, you know.
Through you.
Yeah.
Were you bringing in money
of course,
by that point? Definitely.
Yeah.
So even with a verbal agreement, those stand if there's a witness, right? And I feel like you're pretty well educated in the westernized way, kid. I feel like there are things you know, maybe you're just not acting on them because you're young, you know, which is a mistake that I've even made when I was still coming up. So my question to you is, why were you so careless in terms of the agreement that you made with them?
You know, I guess I was hopeless. I was somewhat hopeless, you know, because I'm in matric. I don't know what I'm going to do after matric. And all I have is this talent, rapping, you know. My older brother just signed to Ambitious Entertainment at the time. So I'm like, there's got to be a sign, you know. And when I went there, and when he was like, you know, I was actually looking for you. I've been looking for you. I was checking you out on the net. I was actually waiting for you to finish school. And then we were going to approach you as a label. I was like, whoa, then that means this is a go.
Yeah.
You know, so I guess I was just anxious and hopeless.
How long was your brother signed with them?
Basically like a year.
A year?
But when he signed, it was like a couple of months.
Okay.
Yeah, at the time.
At the time. So he was also still figuring. He's thinking, how much older is your brother than you?
He's 26.
He's 26, so he's 6 years older than you, right?
Yeah.
And he didn't kind of forewarn you?
I mean, there was nothing that showed.
Yeah?
You know?
Was he getting paid?
I mean, let me put it like this. You get into the label, they have a systematic way of how they pay their artists. And when you're a hopeless guy, or when you're a guy that just wants the shot, I mean, everything is cool, right? You go with the system, you're like, oh, this is how you guys work, as long as I'm getting mine. But the more and more you start realizing, doing research, you know, it becomes in the open.
Yeah.
You know,
Can I assume then that, and I'm not saying Ambitious did this, I wasn't there, but what I'm gathering from the conversation I'm having with you is basically you were taken advantage of, a young artist not knowing what's happening really in the streets in terms of contracts, and you were done wrong, basically, but definitely taken advantage of in that situation. Would you agree with me if I said that? Of course.
I feel like most artists in the label are taken advantage of. You know, it's like they check where you are in life first before they actually, you know, propose to you, whatever it is they want to propose. Like all record labels in general, you know, it's like they look at, oh, homeless, perfect, you know, or, oh, he really wants this, perfect, you know? Okay. It's just how it goes.
So it's a scam from the get.
Everyone's trying to make money.
Damn, okay, this sounds rough. All right. If you could guesstimate, a guesstimation of how much money you should have been getting / how much money you owed.
What I can say is I wasn't supposed to be getting money monthly. You know, I was supposed to be getting money per show, you know, for the work I put in, whatever, you know. But I was getting paid monthly, and a certain amount that just didn't cut it for me. You know, I feel like I'm getting to a point where I should be getting maybe a little bit more because, damn, I'm on the road every weekend, you know. So let me just put it like that.
All right. Do you know how much they were charging for you to be at the shows?
I don't even know. You see, a lot of things weren't transparent because I was just looking at one thing, which was getting the music out under a label, knowing that there's a guarantee it's gonna be pushed, because that's all I ever wanted, my music to be pushed.
But, okay, even I have a manager, even, you know, tax gets taken out of me, IRS, SARS, I'm out here, but I get a very, what people would assume is a small portion of the actual check. Was that not explained to you? Did you understand management fees and
of course,
how much
I understood
they took?
everything, all of that, you know?
How much did they invest in you, do you think? Did they ever tell you that, you know, we put 500,000 Rand in you?
Oh, well, this one time when the label owner had came through to my apartment, this was just before I left the label, came through with like a briefcase, you know, took out a couple of papers. I remember the chat was, you know, the whole chat was about how I should actually sign now. I should really just put it on paper now, you know what I mean? But at the same time, I had my own little mindset that I had created because I know what I know now. So it was just a big war, a big cold war, actually. So he took out a couple of papers and he was like, this is what I remember. He was like, yo, so if you check this out, this is like all the money that we put into your Facebook, and it makes like $1 million or something. I was like, get out of here, man. $1 million? Man,
Well,
get out
why
of
didn't you
here,
ask for
know?
proof? Maybe they did.
His proof was clearly the papers. That wasn't enough for me.
Because you could go to your Facebook page and actually put 500,000 Rand in you.
Oh, well, this one time when the label owner had came through to my apartment, this was just before I left the label, came through with like a briefcase, you know, took out a couple of papers. I remember the chat was, you know, the whole chat was about how I should actually sign now. I should really just put it on paper now, you know what I mean? But at the same time, I had my own little mindset that I had created because I know what I know now. So it was just a big war, a big cold war, actually. So he took out a couple of papers and he was like, this is what I remember. He was like, yo, so if you check this out, this is like all the money that we put into your Facebook, and it makes like $1 million or something. I was like, get out of here, man. $1 million? Man,
Well,
get
why
out of
didn't you
here,
ask for
know?
proof? Maybe they did.
His proof was clearly the papers. That wasn't enough for me.
Because you could go to your Facebook page and actually check how much money had been put in.
At the time, he had it in his possession.
So he was running your Facebook page.
Definitely.
You didn't have any access.
I was like an admin partner or whatever, but
you're not buying
I'm
the 1
under a
million.
label, you know? Okay, the label got it, cool. You know, that's how it was.
Okay, I hear you. I understand that. All right. Would you go back and do things differently with them if, let's say, forget the verbal agreement and not having a contract? In terms of the breakup, would you do things differently?
With what I know now, I'm cool, I'm straight.
Exactly the same way?
Yeah.
Does Fifi feel the same?
I really don't know how Fifi feels like because I haven't spoken or seen Fifi in a long time, but I definitely know that she wasn't in the right place too, you know? And she later realized that on her own, which became real.
So you left first and then she left after you? Or around the same time? I thought you guys were holding each other's hands.
You know? Around the same time, because when the word was out there, yo, contracts have to be signed. You know, everybody was just running around. Like,
Fifi didn't have a contract?
Oh, no, Fifi did, but she was supposed to do like an addendum or something.
Yeah.
You know, changes that have been made to the original contract. Yeah, they were supposed to sign that, but obviously because I didn't sign, I had to sign the contract and the addendum.
Okay.
Right? So that day when everybody was just supposed to sign things, you know, I remember Fifi was like, yo, I'm not doing none of that. You know, don't nobody do that, actually. I remember it clearly.
So what was the difference with Emtee in this situation?
Oh, I'm going to put it out how it is. See, with Emtee had the same feelings as I did about the label.
Really?
And his were probably, like, worse because they were bottled in. You know? I like to say. I remember we had a show in PLK, and I was with them in the van and stuff. It was me, him, Flame. That's who I remember. And then he was like, yo, you can't even be your ultimate self as an artist in this label because you marginalized, you know? I'm like, yo, where's that coming from? It was just like, I think I'm going to leave sooner than I thought. Yo, I'm telling you right now, those are his words. They came out of his mouth. If I'm lying right now, may God strike me down.
We were family, as you say, you know. So it was a bit shocking, like how? Family, you are living the family.
I took that because I was like, yo, man, I relate. You know? But then when it was time to actually do it, I'm not saying he was supposed to do it when I was doing it, but don't go out there now making the people believe that, you know, I'm the bad guy or I'm the traitor, I'm the betrayer. You know, that's not cool.
I respect the business that much. Like, I wouldn't take it that far, you know, as to, yeah, look at my contract, you see. They said this. Now, I wouldn't try and involve the whole world into my business like that.
You don't think for him it's just how it happened?
I think for him, it happened in a way that nothing can change it. Not even me leaving the label, you know? I don't know where he was in his life when he got signed, and he's probably holding on to that because it's all he has. And as a human being, you gotta respect that.
Does Ambitious take like a huge chunk, a fair chunk? Do you ever look at the chunk they take and think, this is too much? Or are you comfortable with the chunk they have?
Man, I came from zero, you know, like nothing. So any and everything that they had given to me, whether it was an opportunity or shot or money or an advance or whatever, like I still appreciate my first shake from them till this day, you know? I guess that's how I grew up, like just keeping it real.
So it wasn't that they were treating him differently. He was also...
Man, he wasn't even that, you know? Emtee was cool in the label. But like I'm saying, maybe I didn't know. Maybe
because he had a contract.
Yeah.
You know, he had a contract. He had something signed on paper. So if...
But I can tell you now, he wasn't happy. He wasn't happy.
Did you guys allege...
I'm sure he's not happy.
Even right now? Why would you say that?
I don't know. That's what my gut is telling me. Like, okay. I feel like no one is really truly happy out there. And if they are, that means they don't know nothing.
And you're not hurt about him sticking with the label and not kind of showing any support towards you? Or did he?
I'm more disappointed than hurt, you know? Because as a dude to another dude, your word is your word. You keep it. You stick to it.
Your word is your bond, right?
Yeah, your word is bond. So when he went on Twitter and was like, yo, people out here saying Ambitious Entertainment forever and then leave the label and then try and blame us for all that, I was like, what? But I was in the same car with you, and you were saying the exact same thing I was saying. I just did it.
I'm touching knee on the floor. I pray to God every month. Lord, I ain't broke anymore. Ain't living life like before. You say I did